start this? How are we gonna start this? How are we gonna start this? Madison White! Oh my God! How did you get into this screen? Welcome to Love Amped. It is so nice to have you today, Madison.
It's wonderful to be here. You asked, and how could I say no?
I don't know. That'd be silly. I think that'd be silly. So, Madison, here's the thing. I brought you on because I think of you as a freaking goddess and someone who is being a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are the things out there in this modern day that are stopping women from being women?
I'm going to go right into it. Women don't know how powerful they are. Women don't know that they are the gateways of all energy that comes into this physical world. They're really in charge. But the thing about power is that it's oftentimes very scary, right? We're very oftentimes afraid of our own power because it's powerful. And there's also this interesting thing that I've noticed in our society where people shy away from power because they think it's a bad thing. They think that having power is a bad thing, that means that you're somehow like taking away from somebody else. Maybe that's where it's based in, is people think that if someone has power, that means that somebody else doesn't have power, which is just that lack individualistic mentality, which is just not true. We've probably been fed, but it's just not true, right? And having power, so I'll say this, having power combined with having an open heart is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Because someone who is in touch with their power and has an open heart and is also in touch with their individuality, their individual essence, which I think is naturally something that comes when, you have your power and you have your individuality, because that's kind of where your power comes. It comes from you, like you being you, right? So when you have that being in touch with your power and an open heart, the only thing you can do is good. You're gonna do goodness. You're gonna do goodness in the world. And because you're in touch with your power, you're gonna be effectual at doing good, at doing goodness. So yeah, so I kind of went off topic with the goddess thing, but that's kind of a general, I think that goes for everybody, right? Is that
Right.
power and that heart-centeredness.
Absolutely. And why is it so important to find that empowerment within
Mm.
before saying, hey, other people outside of myself, give me the power?
Well, no one can give you power. That's the thing. Nobody gives or takes power. Power is an inherent thing. We are all sovereign beings. We are all inherently powerful. It's who and what we are. I mean, we've explored, all of the technological advancements, all the scientific advancements, all the space exploration, and we have yet to find a tool more powerful than the human mind. There is nothing that we are an awareness of in existence that is more powerful than the human mind. So everyone is powerful. Everyone has power. It's just a matter of, where are you stopping yourself? Where are you out of touch with yourself? And if you can sort of bring who you are, and you know what I mean, like who you actually are and who you think you are, you know what I mean? Sort of like bring these two together. That's when yeah, you just are this thing. Anybody who thinks that they're going to gain power or get power from other people, that's just from wounding. That's not true power. Because I think when people see that someone, you know what I mean, when it comes to being a leader, for example, a leader is someone who is fully in their power, and because they're in their power, right, they're leading the way. They're creating a forward momentum, a forward progression in their lives that, by way of doing that, creates sort of this path or this ripple behind them that people can follow. And people can look ahead and say, like, oh my goodness, look at that person. Look at Seth. He's doing this podcast. He's doing his thing. He's getting out there. He seems so comfortable with who I am. I want to do that. I want to be that. And then people, I guess, if any way they could give you power, would just be to say, like, teach me, lead me, guide me, help me. And then you, as a person with power, have responsibility, right? Because power and responsibility always come together. You cannot Once you have power, you have responsibility. And with power, you have a responsibility to serve others, to help others. Because again, power is not like this is mine, that's yours, separation type thing. It's everyone's. So the more people I empower, the more powerful I become, right? Because it brings the whole society up. It brings the whole society up. And that could almost tie back into the, what does it mean to be a goddess? What is this feminine energy type thing as well, if we wanted to go down that avenue?
Oh, yes, amazing. And so with that,
yeah,
why would someone that truly loves themselves become a leader to assist others, before we jump in more back into that goddess aspect?
Yeah, well, I'll use my personal experience. So I, growing up, was really unhappy with the way that the world operated. And as a result, was really unhappy with myself, right? But I also, at the same time, I could see this vision for the way the world could be, right? Like I could see how people could work together, how people could live happier lives, and I wanted to do that. But because I had such low self-esteem and thought so lowly of myself, I wasn't very effectual. I wasn't in my power. I didn't know that I had power. I didn't know how to use my power. I just wasn't effective. So it always begins with the self, right? So it began with myself realizing that, that unhappiness with life had led to depression, had led to eating disorders, had led to drug abuse, had led to all of this self-abuse that became, of course, the top tier of my healing, because I had to heal myself. I had to heal my relationship with myself. I had to love myself so that I could be strong to do what I wanted to do in the world, right? So it begins with the self. We begin with loving ourselves. And I think that anybody who pursues a path of healing themselves, although that might be all they're conscious or aware of in that moment, is that I need to heal myself. But I don't think anyone would get into self-healing without somewhere in their heart wanting to change the world. I think it's there. I think it's there in all of us.
I can see it. Again, I can see that.
Yeah, you have to fill your own cup first, right? But that's the thing, is because we're all connected, we're all interrelated. Helping me helps you, and helping you helps me. There's no way that you can help yourself without helping others. You know what I mean? They just go together.
Mm-hmm,
so oftentimes it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of how much, healing you can do on yourself and filling your own cup before inevitably that cup runneth over. And you have to give, you have to share, you have to help, you have to shine your light to others. And it's a really good formula for changing the world, I think.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely really brilliant.
Smart.
There's a reason why I say that once the world truly loves themselves, all of the problems are going to melt away. It's because it's going to be like that.
Yeah, it's like this divine order thing or something. Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
It's like it's getting its own intelligence or something. Wow.
And, there are so many messages out there that can kind of take someone off course or off their path, or confuse them even more. What has been your experience with the more that you've gotten to know yourself and love yourself, that it makes it easier when you see a message out there and you go, oh, that's funny. That's all right. That's not good. That's not going to help anyone. What are you talking about? And seeing messages and you're like, yes, that's what's up. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, you kind of said the answer in your question. It's to know thyself. Right? Because we are, and this is what I love about, the lineage of the modern mystery school that we are both studying and practicing in, is that it's based in Hermetics. And Hermetics is all about understanding the mind of God. Like we were just kind of joking about, like joking, not joking. There is this divine intelligence. There is this divine order and divine harmony that is incredibly beautiful, that allows for exponential growth, exponential beauty and creativity, and that is from where we come and to where we are going. It is our essence of who we are. It's all that other muck, that other unworthiness, rat race, blah, blah, blah stuff that gets in the way of just being who you are, right? Mm-hmm. So the more you can know yourself, and tap into, move beyond the mind of man, which is polluted by negative ego, polluted by opinion, polluted by
Hmm.
separatism, polluted by unworthiness and sin and these things. The more you can move behind that human like monkey mind and more into the mind of God, the easier it's going to be to see through the BS, not only outside yourself but also within. Because the person who's going the thing or the entity that is going to try to lie to you the most and get you most off course and convince you out of the truth is unfortunately the person sitting right in your chair with you.
It was me. It's
But
all. Oh, what am I to do? What am I to do?
on the flip side of that is that you are the answer to every question. You are the solution to every problem. You are the salve to every wound. You are the light to every shadow. You are all of it right here within you. So you don't have to look. You don't have to look outside of yourself. And what our path provides, for example, the path within the lineage in the modern mystery school is a path of raising that vibration, of holding more light in your physical body, including your mind, so that with more light, we cast shadows, right? Light casts out shadows, right? And exactly, it's very, very Terminator, right? Put on your battery pack. Sometimes I'll say that to people. I'm like, life activation is like plugging into a battery pack that
Mhm.
allows you to do the work that you need to do to raise up to this higher level, this higher expression of yourself.
Amazing. And Madison, you're not only a life activation practitioner, ritual master, you are also a guide with the Modern Mystery School in the lineage of King Solomon. I mean, for someone that doesn't even know what that means out there, what's that all about?
Oh, goodness, right. So we offer a path, right? So a path has steps. So there's many steps on the path. And life activation, you can think of life activation as kind of the first step. However, you're not quite on the path after you've received life activation. Life activation, as I said, it awakens the spiritual blueprint of your DNA. So all of those answers to those questions that you've been asking yourself are all in your DNA, are all in your spiritual DNA. Some people will say to me, like, DNA, like what? Like double helix, da da da. And I'm like, yeah, but we're also made of stardust. Remember? We're also made of the very same things that make up the universe. And that is contained in our DNA. So the life activation awakens that DNA. Full spirit activation is the soul, spirit, physical body connection. And all of these activation sessions are going to wake up more of you. And the Empower Thyself class is often the next step that I offer, that I suggest for people once they've received life activation and full spirit activation, because the Empower Thyself initiation is one, it's going to set you on the path in the lineage of King Solomon. And what comes with being on a path is your own empowerment, right? We call it Empower Thyself for a reason, because we give you tools. We give you tools to put you in the driver's seat, to make you the one in your life who's activating change, who's initiating change, who is manifesting, who's transmuting, who is doing all these things for yourself. There's a big transition for my clients once they've received Empower Thyself initiation, where beforehand they'll come to me and maybe they have questions, and maybe we do a private meditation, maybe they receive a healing session, this, that, and the other thing. Once they receive Empower Thyself initiation, I say, have you done your rituals? Have you
Mm,
communicated with your higher self? Because we're
yes.
training you, right? This isn't guru culture. I'm not the one with all the answers to everyone's problems. I hold keys that can allow you to open doors within yourself, right? So the idea is that DIY, you do it. You answer
Yeah,
the questions.
exactly.
You answer the questions for yourself. And I think
Yes.
that's a big difference from what you find in our lineage versus what you find in a lot of new age circles. New age circles are very much based on escapism, and they're very much based in guru mentality, where somebody else or something else, a book or a god or a teacher or whoever holds the answers, and are the gatekeeper. And you have to go to them continually, or go to that place or that practice or that thing continually to receive answers, like, give me the answers.
Right.
Or conversely, to just leave your body and disassociate it and go someplace else and not really do anything that applies to this physical world.
And then when you come back, you're like, what do I do with this?
You still have the same problems.
Yeah. The problems are still here.
Nothing changed. So, but yeah, it's about giving you the keys, giving you the tools. You find out for yourself, because I could be the most psychic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, enlightened being, and I'm not going to know everything there is to know about you. I'm not going to know anyone. I don't even know everything there is to know about myself. I'm still
That's right. You're still on the path. You're still progressing.
Yeah, we are always progressing. So you are the authority on you, and you need the tools to learn the language, conduct the energy, transmute, manifest, alchemize, whatever you need to do to become your higher self, to become your greatest expression of your God self here in this physicality. Only each individual can do it for themselves. And this path is about opening up the doorways, providing the keys, the tools, the ascensions, the activations, whatever it's needed for you to do that work for yourself. It's all driven by your own free will.
It's such a good point of saying that it's like, it's really you, and like putting you in the seat of, all right, you get to figure it out. Like, you got this.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because I've seen others have this kind of a misperception that this path means like, well, I'm doing exactly what this path tells me, and I'm like being more like this versus more like myself. But that's like, it's an interesting thing to understand and kind of convey to others, that even though there is this path, this lineage that's been going on for so long, thousands of years, that it's more about you finding out more about yourself through that path versus I'm going to do the exact specific path just because someone told me to do so.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You can accumulate all of the best tools, all of the shiniest gadgets, but if you don't pick up and use them, they're not going to work. They're not going to work. I used to say it's kind of like that TI-83. I don't know, you're a little bit younger than me. I don't know if you got the TI-83.
Oh yeah.
TI-83.
Oh yeah.
But who taught you how to use it? You could do like 4 things, and one of them was right boobs.
Yeah. and that got me pretty far,
Got you a lot of friends, I bet. Hey, look at this. Right. So we're going to teach you how to use, you are sort of, an analogy for the TI-83 calculator. We're going to teach you how to use it, but we don't use it for you. We can't use it for you. And that is the difference of being in your power or not. You can have all the tools, you can receive all the knowledge, you can receive all the teachings and what have you. But if you're still just like sitting at home on your couch, wondering when someone's going to come save you, sorry, you are your
happen.
Yeah.
And so when someone out there potentially says like, well, but Madison, the New Age stuff allows me to explore and be myself and be free, and there's no restrictions, and I don't know, this empower thyself, you're telling me that there's going to be certain teachings that that are handed down, that's what we do. What do you say to someone like that?
So someone who's trying to tell the difference between empower thyself and what happens in the New Age societies? Yeah. So the main difference is that this comes from lineage. So this is a 3,000-year-old lineage that has been done exactly the same way with exactly the same teachings, going back to Hermes, going back to King Solomon, going back to Jesus, and all the way before that. So, I didn't make this up. I'm not sitting here and be like, oh, I discovered or I channeled this morning this life activation thing, and here you can sit down and use it. I came to the mystery school having a very scientific type of mind, a very sciencey type of background. I was not spiritual, I was not religious at all, right? But so the way that my mind was trained was to look at the results. What are the results showing me? And the results are that this same exact path has been walked for thousands of years by tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of people over the course of those 3,000-4,000 years, and has proven results. And the other big so the power comes from the lineage. And you can see, I think another really big thing that I see from, because I did a lot of work with mystery school, and then I kind of went off and did a bunch of other like shamanic drumming and Reiki and other, explored other types of practices and such. And the big thing that I noticed is that there was no ego. There was no negative ego. There was none of this sort of like boasting up, like, I'm more psychic than you are. I'm more enlightened than you are. Like, you know what I mean? That's that sort of guru complex that I think comes with a lot of people who maybe have really good intentions. They are really psychic. Maybe they are in touch. You know what I mean? And they want to share that with others. However, there's so many ways to climb a mountain, right? And just because what has worked for one person isn't necessarily going to work for another person. At the same time, what I said in the beginning is that we know that this lineage has worked for hundreds of thousands of people over thousands of years. So the fruit's in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. The fruit, yes.
The fruits are in
Buy the fruits, you shall know.
Fruit pudding fruits.
It's fruity.
Tutti frutti.
Yeah, that's a big difference. And of course, what I was talking about of giving you the power is that there's an alchemical transformation that happens over the course of the 2 days of the Empower Thyself, having been still very much a baby guide, only having done this for like maybe 3 years. But there is a really amazing shift that happens over the course of these 2 days. And I cannot say that I understand it. I can only give testimony to the magic of the lineage, the magic of working in a pure, hermetic, alchemical lineage that is not tainted by the human mind, that is not tainted by opinion, that is not tainted by negative ego. The purity of that magic is what I can speak to. And over the course of those 2 days, you come into more of your power. And I think anybody who is on a path of trying to heal themselves, know themselves, listening to this podcast, for example, and is trying to step into their power, whether they use those particular words or not, maybe they use words like, I'm trying to heal myself, I'm trying to know myself, I'm trying to undo trauma, whatever it is, all of that, what underlines at the bottom of that is that you're trying to reclaim your power, reclaim your sovereignty, reclaim your crown, right? Reclaim your individual essence, your purity, your truth. And over the course of those 2 days, in that alchemical shift that happens, is we really change. We really change a person's energy structure in such a way that things that were holding them back in the past just don't have the same effect. Just doesn't affect them in the same way that was. So things that were stopping points for them and their healing or their progression, things that were in their subconscious, maybe they weren't even aware of. Those things get cleared out. They get moved out. Negative hooks, be it people or experiences or, past, things from their past that were like hooked into their subconscious, like that stuff it's just gone. It's not a quick fix, it's not a one fix all, of course. However, there is massive, massive, massive change, and it stays with you. Whereas oftentimes I find in the New Age community with like yoga or sitting with plant medicine or things, you have to keep going back. Right? You have to do like how many hours of yoga a day? You have to do dedicate how many days or weeks to go to your plant medicine journey, or you have to read so many books or sit in so many lectures or XYZ. And you're just always trying to get more, right? Because you're seeking for it outside of yourself. And Empower Thyself opens the door within you so that you can step into that within yourself. So it's not outside of you. Yes, there are rituals that you do that are technically outside your body, but you're working with your own energy structure. You are taking control. You are taking your power back of your energy, and your right and your authority to command it, to command power in your own energy. And that's how you heal. That's how you make change, is by becoming the authority of yourself, mastering yourself, spiritual self mastery, your spirit, which is really the truth of who we all are as spirit.
And so, with that, through all of these experiences and where you're at right now with yourself, how is your relationship with self-love?
You know what I've had has been a big epiphany for me recently. I am a little bit of an indigo. I'm a little bit of a right brain, right? So I have often struggled with discipline. And I have also often struggled with, so with discipline comes like consistency, like being consistent in my daily activities and things like that. And I've also struggled with the intensity of how I feel, being like an
Mm,
empath, being an indigo, things like that. So it's gotten a whole lot better since studying with the mystery school, of course, but we're always a work in progress, right? We're always moving. So, a big breakthrough I've had recently is being able to see discipline as really the highest form of self love and self care and nurturing myself. And this kind of goes back to goddesshood and feminine energy and what it means to be a woman, because I've known for a long time, since I was a child, probably, that the world was lacking nurturing, was lacking care, was lacking patience, was lacking compassion, right? Everyone's just running on their hamster wheel, running on their treadmill with no really goal, no end in sight, just sort of running for the sake of running to keep up with the Joneses or keep up with whatever idea in your mind you've decided that you need to run for. um and that realizing that is a good energy. We could think of that as a masculine energy, that forward momentum, that problem solving, that
mm,
direct, that forward action and momentum of moving forward. But you need to balance that with rest, and balance that with care, balance that with nurturing, because that's how you're going to have stamina. That's how you're going to run the long race of life, and not just
yes.
like these short bursts burnout, short bursts vacation, short bursts get drunk and blackout drunk, short bursts, you know what I mean? It's like that cycle that a lot of people find themselves in. But really seeing self-care, because the thing about self-care is that, to me, to really care for yourself is you have to really feel yourself and know yourself, feel your emotions, maybe feel where you're sore or tired in your body, feel where what you're hungry for, and all these types of things. And there's a lot of ways that we have tried to stop feeling, stop
Mhm.
feeling ourselves, stop getting in touch with that soft, sensitive side of ourselves. So and I'm so happy to see our society moving more. I see us moving more into balance in this area of having nurturing, while still realizing that there's a job to do. Right. And we have to get up off the couch and do what has to get done. And you're going to be more effective when you've cared for yourself. So that's been a big breakthrough that I've had recently that has
Awesome.
been nice. Yeah. Yeah.
And what are some of the things that you love about yourself? What are some of the favorite things that you're like,
So that
oh,
math.
I'm Madison White. Oh, look at me.
Um, I think I'm really good at self-expression. I think people used to joke around and call me like Muppety. They say like I'm very Muppety. Um,
Nice.
so I love the way that I express myself. I love my sensuality. I love my softness. I love that I'm not afraid to talk about the uncomfortable things. I'm not afraid to, you know, go where maybe no man has gone before. I'll leave that to the Scorpio side of myself. But it's courageous. There's courage there. And I think I'm incredibly understanding, especially in the face of conflict. I try to really, see where the other person is coming from, especially nowadays. We're having a lot of divide, a lot of like differing opinions that are allowing us to think that we can't get along, and we can't, you know what I mean? Like we can't like have a differing opinion and still be friends, like, and still be cordial and still be nice, because I am not my opinion and you are not your opinion. I can still think that you're a fine person, and we just have different opinions, and that's not a big deal. I like red, you like blue. Um, Yeah, really understanding. I think I'm very passionate. I love my passion, and that creates a drive to do better, to improve myself. That's sort of the engine of my, the fire in my engine that keeps me moving forward to serve others and to continually work on myself. I'm a good dancer. I'm artistic.
Yes, yes. And those that haven't seen freaking Madison's Instagram reels, they're so funny. They're so good. They're like funny and they just like drive the point home of like, oh wow, I didn't think about that before. Or I think it's a very inspirational. Makes it very like joyous and easeful for others to go, oh, that's a cool opportunity. Maybe that's for me.
Yeah, I love making people think.
Mhm.
Love getting outside that box and making people think. And if I can
Yeah,
do it and they laugh at the same time, winning.
I feel you. Oh, I feel you on that. Super hard. Super. Oh my gosh, amazing. So, what would you say to the goddesses out there as encouragement to embracing more of who they are?
I think the first thing that I would say is be easy. Be easy on yourself. I think a lot of people are really hard on themselves, especially women, moms, for example, who feel like they have to do it all and look good while doing it and please everybody else. Um, take it easy, take it easy, take it slow, take a breath, and really, what do you want? Get in touch with your own desires, get in touch with what you want, and learn how to provide that for yourself.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Beautiful advice. It's gonna make such a like a just a more easeful world, more peace, more understanding, more compassion, and in a way of uh understanding that it's okay that someone is where they're at. Just like allow that to be. And so you can do that for yourself.
And do that for yourself. You are where you're at, because you're never going to move forward if you don't know where you are. You're not going to know which way is forward if you're not acknowledgement of where you are right now. So acknowledge where you are right now and let that inform what your next step is. Because, as I said before, like, we are the answers. We hold the answers to all of the questions that we could ask. We are the solve to every wound. We are the solution to every problem. It's just a matter of, can you come into stillness? Can you come into silence and go inward and find those answers? And if you're having trouble, we have a whole path beginning with life
That's right.
activation
That's right.
to help you do that for yourself.
Amazing. So, Madison, for one of our final questions here, as we have a few minutes left, I love talking about this. That people that listen to the recent episode, there, you have to understand. I'm going to probably talk about this pretty much every episode going forward. Is Madison, why is the ritual master path the best warrior path on the face of this flipping planet?
It really is. It really is. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. And for some people, they'll be like, "Ooh, yeah, let me do it." And other people are like, "Ah." But um, the reason why it's so hard is remember that we said, I said you are the solve to every wound, you are the solution, right? And on the flip side of that is that you are your own greatest enemy. You are your own greatest stopping point. And if you want to learn how to, there's that analogy that clients bring me back to all the time of like the two wolves within you and they're fighting, the sort of like the good and the evil. And which one are you feeding? Which one are you giving into? Which one are you supporting? Are you allowing yourself to succumb to negativity and your own separatism and your own unworthiness? Or are you stepping into a greater vision of yourself? And part of that is healing. A big part of that is also stepping into your warriorship. Warriorship is all about power. Warriorship is all about power. And it's all about taking back yourself, right? Because again, this isn't an outward,
Yeah.
this isn't an outside thing, right? It's all happening right here within you. The greatest battle that you will ever the greatest battle that you will ever face is the one within yourself. And the ritual master path provides you with the tools, with the power to win that battle.
Yes. Yes. Hashtag winning the battle against the self.
Against the self. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Madison, thank you so much for joining us today and just spreading your light and spreading the light and celebrating our light that we have and experiencing in this life. It is fantastic. It's just being in the few times that we have, been together in spaces has been just an absolute joy. And I can't wait to continue to have this experience, alongside you. So I'm super stoked.
Yeah, it's going to be,
thank you.
We're only just beginning.
We really are. We really are. Amazing. Okay. So everyone out there, love yourselves out there, and, be gentle, be easeful, embrace your goddesshood, embrace your godhood.
And your godhood. We need both.
We need both.
We need both.
Come on. Amazing.